Hey, welcome sports fans. St. Patrick's Day weekend. Another episode of the PB&Z Sports Chaos, your weekly sports sandwich. And we're brought this week, or fueled this week by what?
We are fueled by our friends in Cambridge at Lamplighter. It's a microbrew. And this week we are drinking Birds of a Feather. It's a 6.8 ABV, very smooth tasting IPA. Love it.
Ooh,
easy to drink.
617 area code. And for our friends in the 508, because it is St. Patrick's Day, from Wormtown Brewers out in Worcester, they're Irish Red for St. Paddy's Day here in the Jameson studio. All right, let's get started, folks. We're ready to go. We're fueled up and fired up. This week, let's talk about, first of all, our shout-outs. What do we got for shout-outs, PB?
Well, I do want to thank our viewers. We are up to over 700 views now across our 4 episodes. We've only been online for a month.
Nice!
So we will be posting this, our 5th episode, tonight. And we have a bunch of new members, only one of which is outside New England. So we do want to give some props to Laura from Denver as we continue to grow our reach in a national presence. So thank you.
All right. And we also want to give some shout-outs to the folks who gave us some feedback last week. Slingin' Sammy Smith. Thank you for the Celtics and Red Sox feedback that we used last week. We welcome your feedback on our Facebook page as well as our YouTube page.
And that's PB and Z. That's PB, the letter N, Z, Sports Chaos.
Nice. All right. Let's get right into it. This week, our agenda. We're going to talk a little spring training in the Red Sox, some concerns we might have. It is championship week in the NCAAs in front of March Madness Selection Sunday tomorrow. I cannot wait. And NFL. Free agency started last week on Wednesday, right? Official the league year started out. We'll get right into that. And real quick, a couple of our local news highlights. First of all, Boston Bruins. Yes, we talked a lot about them the last couple of weeks in their 19-game point winning streak, right? Yeah. They lost 3 in a row in regulation. Not so good, so we will not talk about them at all this week. Celtics. Went out west, went 3-1, but as PB predicted last week here live, they would not sweep LA, and they did not. Clippers trounced them, right, on Monday night?
They did. Yeah, 140 points they let up. Whew.
And you know what my concern is? So they lost that game, 130, and then they gave up 120 the next 2 games they won. Their defense sucks right now. So a little bit of a concern. All right, last local shout-out. MIAA, Massachusetts High School Sports, right? High school basketball championship and high school hockey championships this weekend. My South Shore teams, please. I go with my North Shore comrades that the South is the best. Come on, bring it home.
North Shore.
Let's go. All right, let's get right into it. All right, we're going to start out with baseball. Baseball. Are you concerned about the Red Sox?
I'm going to say it again. I'm not concerned because it's spring training. They do have deplorable numbers right now in spring training with a 6.05 team ERA, 1.71 WHIP. They have a batting average against of 305. They had lost 9 in a row before they won against the Braves today, 6-1. Worst run differential in the entire spring training Major League Baseball, and they are in last place in the Grapefruit League. So deplorable numbers. They do open up the season with 11 games on the road. There could be a little momentum factor kicking in there, but I'm just not going to put any stock into this preseason. I just don't.
But I will say this. They won the Grapefruit last year. They were like 22-9, had strong momentum. They came out of the gate, and what did they do? 16 out of 20 they won, right? And they dominated the league after that at that point in time because of the strong boost they got out of the first 20 games. So, I say this. Winning begats winning. If you cannot win regularly, you're going to get into a slump, I think. I don't know, but I'm with you. It is early. It is spring training. They are defending champions. They have a good attitude, right?
Yeah. You put that rotation in effect. They're making quality starts, pitching 6 or 7 innings. That's a whole different story than what's going on.
I'm a little concerned that no one's pitched over 10 innings outside of Erod yet.
No, that's the thing. That's why I'm not putting stock into it.
Right.
Like it doesn't mean anything.
Spring training, March 28th. That's like 11 days away.
I know. Opening day.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Excited.
All right. Hey, little fun fact. Tom Seaver, unfortunately, was in the news this week due to his dementia situation. Tom Seaver was a great pitcher, right? Cy Young winner, Hall of Famer. Did you know, 1986, Tom Seaver played here for the Red Sox. He was traded for who to come here?
That would be Steve Cycle Lyons.
That is correct. Steve Cycle Lyons for a Hall of Famer. Can you believe it? Oh, my God. All right. NCAA, we got March Madness coming up, bro.
Yeah, so Z, tell us how you're feeling here going into tomorrow's Selection Sunday.
Right.
I know Zion is back on the court for Duke. They took care of North Carolina yesterday. A lot of action going on today with that SEC semifinal with Tennessee and Kentucky.
Today, yep.
How are things going to play out? What are you expecting to see tomorrow with the selection show? And who's going to get our 1 seeds? And what are your predictions?
Let me start. Zion is a beast. That kid, I have not seen a force like that in basketball in a long, long, long time. He is just infectious, and I love the way he plays the game. 29 his first night back, 31 last night, led the team to a win against North Carolina, which they lost to twice. Unbelievable. I think at this point in time, Duke has to be right there as one of the favorites with Zion playing. Absolutely for real. I also think, right now the chalk talk is that the top 4 teams are Virginia, Gonzaga, Duke now, and Kentucky, but Kentucky just lost. I believe that Tennessee should move in because they won 2 out of 3 against Kentucky this year. All right. I also think that I agree with Dickie Vitale. He says that the teams with 15 and 16 losses, like the University of Florida, get them the hell out of here, right? My concern is this is not going to be a chalk year this year. So far, early in this week, in the league championships, out of the 11 championships that played, only 2 of the number 1 seeds won. That means you got some mid-major, lower-level teams that are now in as number 1s that shouldn't have been there in the first place because the team that was in the first place was not going to make it.
Yeah. And then your bubble teams are now
shrinking, right?
Yep.
Right. What I would love to see, quite frankly, I know it's not going to play out this way, but quite frankly, what I would love to see is a Final Four of Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Duke. And in that Saturday night game, Duke plays North Carolina, Kentucky plays Tennessee. They have played the best basketball against each other this year. That would be something that the average fan, the hockey guy like you, would watch at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if it'll play out. We'll see what happens at that point in time. I think the top seeds are going to be probably, unfortunately, Virginia, Tennessee, as I said earlier, Duke, and I believe North Carolina should be there. All right, let's move on. I got another fun fact for you, PB. Did you know Hall of Famers, NFL, losing record quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame? Do you know who they are? There's only 2.
Jeez. Losing records, quarterbacks. I don't know.
I will save us some time.
You know?
One of them played for the Jets.
Namath?
Joe Namath is one.
Right.
The other guy played for the Washington Redskins.
Theismann?
No. Sonny Jurgensen.
Oh, Sonny Jurgensen. Okay.
And there's talk of Eli Manning being in the Hall of Fame. God bless us. No, don't let that happen. All right, let's move on. Free agency happened this week. A lot of stuff happened.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you a question. Your top 5 transactions. Not talking about teams, just the top 5 transactions you believe happened this week.
Okay, I think Antonio Brown. I think the Raiders got him for 3rd and 5th. That's a good deal for them.
Steal.
Bell
Wings.
going to the Jets. 4 years, $52 million. That's probably under what his cap money would have been.
Yeah.
I mean, not his cap money. His
Yep.
franchise tag would have been in Pittsburgh. Ladarius Thomas. 4 years at 66. I think that's a steal for a guy of his caliber. Going from Baltimore over to where's he going?
Okay, Ladarius went to not KC, but San Fran, right?
Yeah, San Fran. Thank you. And then we have Tyrann Mathieu. I think that's a good
Honey
deal.
Badger from LSU.
3 years for 42. I think is a good deal for him. And then we go a little outside the box. I think LaMarcus Joyner from the Rams. He was tagged,
big
then
safety.
traded to the Raiders.
Yep.
So a couple of Raiders, and they got him for 4 and 42. So a couple good moves in there for the Raiders.
Yep.
Those are my best 5 deals I think out of free agency.
What are your worst 3?
I have Trent Brown. Believe it or not, coming out of New England, going to Oakland.
That's a lot of money. $17.6 million, right?
Yeah, $66 million over 4 years. That's quite a bit of money. Foles, I don't. 4 years, $88 million. And there's some laden incentives in there to get him up to like 105 or something. I think that's just too much money for a guy like Foles.
It sounds like both those teams bid against themselves. Would you agree?
Yeah,
Right.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
Okay.
And then finally, C.J. Mosley. I like him as a player.
Yep.
I think he's going to do some good things up in New York with the Jets. But 3 years at 51 with 43 of that is guaranteed. That's a pretty deep
guaranteed. Okay.
contract for him. So those would be my 3 worst deals.
All right, so you had your top 5 deals, your top 3 worst deals. What's your top 5 teams that came out of free agency in this whole trading
Well,
period?
I'm going to start off with Cleveland.
I would agree.
And Cleveland just did a lot of good things, right? So first of all,
7-1 favorites in the AFC
I know,
playoffs.
and they probably should be. So start off offensively, right? They did the big deal with the Giants. They got OBJ.
Yeah.
OBJ is going to complement Jarvis Landry and Callaway. You got Njoku at tight end. Mayfield's going to have plenty of people.
He's
running
loaded
routes and
with
some
weapons.
targets.
It's like he's
loaded
playing
with weapons.
OU all over again.
Right, exactly. Staying on the offensive side, it wasn't free agency, but they also signed Hunt.
Kareem Hunt, yeah.
He's
a difference maker when
And
he
we
comes
just
back.
found out this week that he's only getting an 8-game suspension. So he comes back. He's comfortable with Chubb. Perfect timing, maybe after 8 weeks for him.
Yeah,
to come
when
back and do
Chubb's a
some
little worn out, here comes Kareem, right?
Here comes Kareem, right, just
Kind of like
C.J. Anderson.
C.J. Anderson for the Rams, right?
Yeah. So I think, and then you got Mayfield, who obviously proved that he's worth his stock last year.
And they got a good third down back in Duke Johnson out of the backfield.
Yeah.
He's got speed. He's a nice little receiver. And
Yeah. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they got Olivier Vernon. From the Giants. And I think
a steal.
that's a good play for them. You put him on the other side with Myles Garrett.
The number 1 pick 2 years ago, right?
They have some really nice defensive personnel there.
See you, Pittsburgh. You're out.
Oh, they're done easily. 11 games last year Vernon had, right? With the Giants. He had 7 sacks and he led the team in QB hits.
Oh.
And the year prior to that, he also only played, he missed 4 or 5 games the year prior. But prior to that, he had played all 16 games all season.
Right.
So hopefully he's not getting that age where he's starting to get a little bit more injury prone. But I like the move. My concerns, though, still with Cleveland. I do have some concerns. First of which is Peppers. So Peppers obviously was in that deal as well. Now
I like Peppers. I liked him coming out of Michigan.
I liked him coming, and he's a safety. Now, what happens when you run into a dynamic tight end like Kelsey or Gronkowski in the playoffs?
Right. Who's going to cover him?
Who's going to cover him? And then what about your over-the-top guys like Tyreek Hill that you need to double?
Double up, right.
Could. I'm concerned there. I'm concerned with keeping Mayfield upright. They let Zietler as part of that deal too. $10 million guy, right?
Yep.
Now he's gone, so that could create a potential for Baker not to be up as much as we want him to be. And then you have the big thing, which is Kitchens. And it's his first year with the team, and can he coach? There's a lot of personalities on that team. You're talking about OBJ,
A lot.
Hunt.
Oh,
you got to manage that. You got to coach those guys up. So I do have some concerns, but I think overall they came out of this pretty good.
All right, who else you got?
Defensively, I really like the moves that San Francisco and Green Bay made. San Francisco picked up D Ford.
I would agree.
Big deal for D Ford. 5 years, $87.5. That's a big contract.
After he blew the Super Bowl for him.
Yeah, if he can line up where he's supposed to, he'll be fine. Quan Alexander out of Tampa Bay. He's also with San Francisco now. He signed a 4-year, $54 million deal. And then they added Tevin Coleman.
Nice little slot back. I love scat back. I like him.
Yeah,
Yes,
and you pair him with McKinnon coming back.
Right.
With San Francisco there. And then you got Jimmy G.
Coming back. Correct,
Jimmy G missed the year. We know he finished off 2017 on fire. I think that's a scary team to watch out for. I predict them as one of my in teams.
Okay.
I'm sticking with it,
All right.
especially based on these moves. Green Bay. Offensively, they're in pretty good shape, right? They got Rodgers. They got Devontae Adams, one of the top receivers in the league. I'm fine with their offense. They need to get some defense, right? And they went out and they did it.
And A-Rod was very happy about that. He tweeted about that.
Right. They went out and did that. They got they have Zadarius Smith, which, by the way, earlier we said he went to the same.
Oh, that's
it actually was Green Bay.
Green Bay.
I don't know why I was slipping my mind, but anyways,
Sorry, Zadarius.
he went to Green Bay. Edge guy, 8.5 sacks last year. They got him for 4 and 66. Love that move. They also, on the other side of that, will have Preston Smith from Washington,
Redskins,
4 years, 52.
Right.
And then they got a safety, Adrian Amos from Chicago, and they signed him for 4 and 37.
Yep.
So I think they put in
They got
good
some
layers
players.
in their defense.
They
They
do.
got some players, and that's a team I think that you had actually predicted that would be in this year that was out last year.
Yes.
So I think
Yes.
they're doing the right thing to get up there.
Yep.
I have two others. I have the Jets and Oakland. Two teams next year that I think are going to be really fun to watch.
They made
because
the two biggest marquee plays this year
right,
from Pittsburgh.
Right, Brown and Bell. And I think they both are going to be fun teams to watch going into next year
I would agree.
because they did a lot of stuff with their offense, right? So the
Yep.
Jets got Le'Veon Bell. They also added Crowder from the Redskins, right?
Yep,
He's going to be a
James.
good slot guy. They got Osamali, the lineman from Oakland.
That's correct.
And they also got C.J. Mosley from Baltimore. Even though I said that wasn't a good deal,
Huge.
he's still a good player.
He is a
So,
very good player. I
Money
agree.
aside,
Yep.
he could help that defense. I am concerned about Donald. What's he going to be like in his second year?
Right.
Concerned about head coach Adam Gase taking over that team.
Ooh, Adam Gase.
yeah.
Hello. Twilight Zone.
And then you got Bell, who sat out a year. So what's he going to be like missing a whole season in the NFL? And what kind of football shape is he in?
Good point. Good point.
Defense, though, 25th overall defense, 29th in points allowed last year with the Jets, and they didn't go out and really do much on
nothing
defense
there.
besides C.J. Mosley. And for the same reason, Oakland.
Raiders.
Same thing, right? So they go out, they get Antonio Brown. They also got Tyrell Williams from San Diego. I
Right.
like that pickup. I think that's a good move. They also got Trent Brown on the line, right?
Yep.
And they also got LaMarcus Joyner on defense from the Rams. So, a couple good deals in there that I mentioned earlier. I like what they did, but not enough defensive moves. They were the last place team last year in points allowed. Dead last in points allowed and 26th in overall defense. And they didn't go out and really make too many big defensive moves. So team will be fun to watch. Not in that division. They're not a playoff team yet. 6, 7, maybe 8 win team.
So, PB, only I'll say about the Raiders, though, and all the offensive picks, we have to take into consideration they have 4 picks in the top 35 in the NFL this year. 3 in the first round, 1 high in the second round. This is a defensive-heavy draft this
Yep,
year,
it is,
right?
right.
They're predicting like 8 of the first 10 kids who drafted are going to be defensive kids, right?
Yep.
And the Raiders are in the 4th
Yep.
pick, right?
Yep.
So they have a chance to supplement the team on defense through the draft. I would not worry about them yet, even though they didn't sign anybody on defense other than LaMarcus, right? So
Yep.
move
If
on.
one or two of those work out, then they could be a good team.
And if they
in a
get
couple
4 for
years.
4,
Yeah.
oh,
Right.
watch out. All right. What do you think the worst?
Worst teams, easy Pittsburgh, right? Because they have
They lost 2 of the best
Antonio
offensive
Brown,
players in the game of football,
Two
right?
of the best position players, arguably in the league, right? So they're done.
Yep.
Baltimore, big loser.
4 defensive guys, right?
Yeah,
All
Zadarius
starters.
Smith, that we mentioned. Suggs is gone to Arizona. C.J. Mosley, the aforementioned, is up to the Jets.
Right.
They released Weddle.
Right.
And all they did was bring in Earl Thomas on the defense. Granted, number 1 defense overall, number 2 on points allowed, nowhere to go but down, and that's where they're going to go. They're going to go down. They'll be middle of the pack defense
I can
next
see
year.
that.
I
can
see.
see that.
And they also got rid of Flacco, right? They bring in Mark Ingram. And the reason why they had to bring in Mark Ingram is they need a solid back there. They got Lamar Jackson. They are basically putting the weight of that team on Lamar Jackson, second year quarterback. I don't think he's ready for it. Baltimore could be a bottom.
Who's that backup to Lamar?
I'm going to say Baltimore could be a bottom 5, bottom 10 for sure team next year in the NFL.
And who's the backup to Lamar?
I don't know,
RG3, right?
Yeah.
That might be a good landing spot for Blake Bortles.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who else you got?
And then KC. Again, the one thing they need to do is get their defense shored up. And they didn't do it. I mean, they got rid of Justin Houston, D. Ford, and Eric Berry, 3 arguably
All pros
great-
at
right,
one point in time in
all
their career.
Right, and they bring in Tyrann Mathieu, good deal. I like Tyrann Mathieu when they're at safety. I think that even
Well,
might be an
they play
upgrade
a
on
wash,
Berry.
right?
Berry's been injury prone, so I like that move.
3 games in 2 years.
And then Okafor from New Orleans is a nice little signing.
Yep.
You got him for
Yep.
short money. You got him for 3 years, 24. But it's not enough to offset the losses, and their defense actually got worse. And their defense sucked to begin with. So,
They did suck. That's why we won the Super Bowl.
But here's their dilemma. They got people they need to sign. Mahomes still a little ways out, but they're
Right.
gonna have to pay him someday. And Hill's playing in the last year of his 4-year deal.
If he doesn't go to prison.
If he doesn't get caught on all this other
way.
domestic stuff that's going on right now, but his payday is coming too. He's only making 1.9 this year, so
Right.
we'll see.
You know what? I'm pretty much aligned with you. My top 5, I said, was Cleveland, San Fran, the Raiders, Green Bay, and the Jets. I think we're aligned there. And my bottom 3 was the Giants, mostly because I hate the Giants because I'm a Cowboys fan too, along with Patriots. Pittsburgh, because of the 2 offensive plays they lost. And I said the Ravens and KC were tied. Let's talk about the Pats real quick. So the Pats lost a couple of key players. They lost their best offensive line, in my opinion, Trent Brown,
Yep.
right? They lost their best defensive lineman. We didn't talk about the Lions. The Lions did pretty good as well. They got some players, right?
Yep.
They lost Trey Flowers, who they overpaid for by a mile, right? Would you agree?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For
They
sure.
lost Eric Rowe, the defensive back, who was a 5th defensive back, spot player that did well for them. They lost Malcolm Brown, the defensive tackle, right? They cut Adrian Claiborne just this morning as well. And then Dwayne Allen's gone, right?
Yeah.
And really, what'd they bring back?
They brought back, they have 5 guys that they just signed that are all, people that may or may not even make the team, as far as I'm concerned. They got a couple of players from the Jets. I think Pennell is probably the top of those 5.
Can I just add,
Would you
I think
agree?
Pennell is probably the best of them all. He's a big boy, 330 pounds. That's the type of defensive tackle that Bill loves because he takes up space and he takes up 2 linemen. Not like these defensive tackles who like to stunt the line and get by their guy. They eat up people like Vince Wilfork. He's not Vince. I know he's not a Vince, folks. Trust me. But he's a big body who I think he's going to do the job, and that's allowing linebackers to make tackles. What else you got?
I agree. I'm just not convinced. I mean, Ellington and Harris, the 2 receivers, I think they're lucky if they make the team. I think Lacoste from Denver probably has a better chance of
Big
making
boy,
the team.
6'6",
tight end.
260
They like
tight
to have,
end.
I think
Replaces
with
Dwayne Allen.
Yeah, I think that he has a better chance of making the team. I mean, we'll see. I'm not really there yet with them.
We both agree on Dorsett coming back big.
Yep, that was a good move.
Bringing Bolden back. Right?
Yep, special teamer.
Special
Yep.
teamer. He's just a patriot by heart, right?
Yep,
And
he is.
So that's
Good.
a plus.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, wrap it up with a little curling.
Curling action! My
promised you some
man!
curling.
He's a Hall of Famer in the curling league. And he's got an invitation to the Pro Bowl Hall of Fame, Pro Bowl curlers. By the way, if you're not familiar with curling, it's much like horseshoes but on ice. Anyways, the Pro Bowl curlers are made up of Jared Allen, Hall of Fame defensive end for the Vikings, Mark Bulger, quarterback from the St. Louis team, Keith Bullock, linebacker from the Titans, and Michael Roos, an offensive tackle. All of them are all pros. They are now competing to be in the Olympics for curling, and PB has a challenge for them. Go ahead, tell them what it is.
Just bring them on. I mean, we play up at the Phillips Academy League in Andover, Massachusetts.
Bring them on!
We won our championship last season. We're off to a good start this season. We're 4-1. We're playing tonight, and bring them on. We'll take them.
Hey, fans, happy St. Patrick's Day. We love you. We'll see you next week on the PB&Z Sports Chaos Show. All right.